Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 3 of environmental science. Last week, guys, you guys took a biome quiz for me. Those are in the midst of getting graded right now. So we're going to kind of move away from biomes. We're going to move towards mammal identification. Fall's rolling around pretty quickly, guys. These mammals are going to be out and about and be able to be seen a lot more often now. So we're going to try to get some identification in there. So maybe you guys can actually see some of these. And if you do see them, at least that way you might be able to identify them. Okay, so let's get going. First image, guys. What kind of bear is this? I'm sure you guys know that this is a bear. Now, is this either going to be a grizzly bear or a black bear? Okay, and we're going to talk about this in a second. Now, this is a black bear here. This actually ends up being a grizzly bear. So let's talk about some differences between the two. Black bear, guys, colors vary from blonde to black. There's no distinctive shoulder hump. The rump is higher than the shoulders. The face profile is very straight. The ears are taller and less rounded than grizzly bears, and the front claws are about 1 to 2 inches long and curved to facilitate climbing. Now, for grizzly bears, the colors vary as well, so they're from blonde to black. Guys, let me repeat that. Black bears and grizzly bears can have exactly the same color. Okay, they are anywhere from brown or from blonde to black, and they can be anywhere in that brown spectrum. Okay. Now, there is a distinctive shoulder hump for grizzly bears. The rump is lower than the shoulder hump. The face profile seems to be dished in. Ears are short and rounded. Front claws are 2 to 4 inches long, depending on the amount of digging the bear does, and are slightly curved. Claw marks are usually visible in tracks. Okay. Now, we're going to go through 2 examples of this. So, you guys can see here, we have more of the pointed face. We have more of the dished-in face. And the biggest difference here, guys, is body size. But if you cannot compare the two, we can look at our hump, okay? Here's our grizzly bear, guys, with that shoulder hump. Black bear does not have their shoulder hump. The black bear's rump, or its butt, does stick higher than its shoulder hump, okay? But in a grizzly bear, the bump or the hump in the back sticks lower than the shoulder hump, okay? So, is this image right here either a black bear or a grizzly bear, depending or looking at your observations? Should be a black bear. Guys, this grizzly bear, or this black bear, I apologize. Black bear does not have a shoulder hump here. It is very blonde, but it does not have that shoulder hump. So a black bear does not necessarily mean that it is black. Now this one, is this either a black bear or a grizzly bear? It is a grizzly bear. The biggest thing here, it has a big shoulder hump. You guys can see that. You can identify that. Now, moving on to deer. This is a mule deer, guys. This is a white-tailed deer. This is also a white-tailed deer. Now, this is also a mule deer, okay? If we look at these, we can take some observations. We can make some inferences about why they're different, okay? I'm sure you guys can see things like antler thickness, maybe body size, nose shape, different pieces. But let's talk about some actual identification tips. So, white-tailed deer, they have really rounded ears. They also have a white tail, hence their name. The antlers are thicker and more compact, and they have a brownish red coat. Okay. Mule deer, they have pointed ears. They have a black tip of the tail. Antlers are taller and broader, and they're typically forked. And they are a grayish-brown coat. Okay. White-tailed deer, guys, are woods animals. They live in the woods. They live next to cornfields. They live in those areas. Okay. Well, we're most commonly seen in the States here, or seen in Minnesota. Mule deer, on the other hand, are farther out west. Okay. So you're talking more of like your prairie grassland areas and more of your hilly areas. Grayish brown coat blends in better there. As for the brownish red coat, that blends in better in Minnesota, okay, in our area. Now, there are mule deer in Minnesota, but it's usually on the very far west side, and there's very, very few, okay? Typically, the deer you will see here are whitetails. Now, looking at an image, is this a white-tailed deer or is this a mule deer? This is a mule deer. The tall tail sign, guys, here should have been that black tip of its tail. Makes it a mule deer. The next one, this is a white-tailed deer or a mule deer. This is a white-tailed deer. No black tip on its tail, guys. More of a reddish-brown coat, and these antlers are a little bit thicker compared to a mule deer's antlers. Now, this one does not have any comparisons, guys. We're not going to talk about any comparisons, but this is the moose, okay? The moose is slowly dying off in Minnesota, guys, but we still have quite a few of them if you head up north, okay? Get into Ely, get into the Boundary Waters area, there are moose to be seen. So, moose. The moose is anywhere from 840 to 1,500 pounds in males, okay? Large adults. Females are anywhere from 440 to 790, okay? Now, this is a pretty big weight differentiation between the two. The male is a lot bigger. Now, with that being said, my bad, I apologize, I had to take a pause. Now, large adults, guys, they stand anywhere from 4.6 to 6.9 feet at the highest part of their back. So they're large animals, and they have antlers, and they have dark brown fur. Their antlers, guys, just so we're on the same page. Let's go backwards. Do not look like deer antlers, okay? They're very big, dish-shaped. They're very large, and we're going to kind of talk about this and discuss these a little bit more, because things like this, these huge paddles on their face, you would think would not be very good for living in the woods, okay, and walking around because they get stuck to trees. But they're so big and so strong, they kind of just break things down on their path, okay? But there's the moose. Now we're going to go through two more animals. We're going to go through the beaver. We're going to go through the muskrat, okay? Now, these two things, guys, are very similar, but a lot of people get them confused with each other, and they don't look similar in my opinion, but they do similar things. Let's talk about it just briefly. Beaver is larger. They also have a flat tail. Muskrats, smaller. They also have a rat-like tail, hence the name muskrat, okay? So, let's get into some differences here. Beavers, guys, have the wide, flat, paddle-like tail, and they're somewhere between 35 and 60 pounds. They're very large animals. Houses are made of layered logs and sticks held together by mud. They also build dams, okay? Now, muskrats, they have a long, skinny tail with flat sides. Long and skinny like a rat. They're around 4 pounds fully grown. So we're talking 4 pounds or 50, 60 pounds. Very big difference. Now, houses are made of plants such as cattails broken over a hard base such as a tree stump, and they do not build dams, but they benefit from them. Okay, and the reason they benefit from them, dams, guys, create small ponds. They can then live in those small ponds, which where cattails are going to grow. Okay, now, one thing that is common between the two, both species have these teeth that never stop growing, so they must continuously gnaw to sharpen their teeth and continuously break them down. They also have orange teeth because that form of the enamel is stronger than white enamel. So if you look at this image, I know it's not perfect, but it's a little bit orange in there, okay? That enamel, guys, is very, very strong, allowing them to gnaw on things. Now, if a beaver or a muskrat stopped gnawing and stopped chewing on things, their teeth would actually grow too long, so they wouldn't actually be usable at that point anymore. They would be bad, I guess, in a sense, okay? They need to have those teeth sharpened down and snod down so they don't get too long, okay? Kind of like your fingernails. They keep growing and got this long, they'd be unusable. But being short, they are usable. Okay, same idea. So there's your teeth. Orange, enamel, beaver, okay, and muskrats. Now, there is a cool little mutualistic behavior between these two animals. This is your last slide. So building dams provide a safer habitat for both beavers and muskrats. So the beaver can build a dam, and the muskrat can benefit from that. Perfect, mutualistic. They both use it, both positives. Muskrats will inhabit beaver houses, though, to give the beavers an extra set of eyes to watch for predators. So think of like a little dog living in your house, how they bark at the door. That's kind of what the muskrat does. The muskrat's probably not going to go attack and kill anything, but it will let the beaver know, like, hey, there's something here. There's something coming, okay? There's predators. And muskrats do eat a lot of cattails to help clear out the paths for the beavers to swim through. So as the muskrat helps the beaver's also helping the muskrat. They both benefit, making it a mutualistic behavior. That's all we're going to get through for today, guys. Make sure you guys follow the instructions. Make sure you guys complete your homework. Other than that, have a good night. Bye.